Yep. If that's in here, actually. Oh, so much better. $309. I did. You too.
All right, I hope I did us proud last week. How was both? Good? Was it better than hearing you? Oh, here I am laying on the floor. I answered it. So is it an answer? You know what's in here? You don't know that I know.
Good.
Good.
Great.
Great.
Doctor.
Shabbat shalom, everyone.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom. You think Nefesh again?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Look. All right. Shabbat shalom, everyone.
You didn't know
Okay.
she was
Huh?
We gotta work on that.
Yeah, no. Response time.
Yeah.
Response time. No, look,
This is Torah.
Yeah.
Right? Talking is Torah, but let's get started. Okay, so, Mimi, are you going to help us to light candles tonight? Okay, that'd be wonderful. So again, Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Let's begin first by Cantor. What page is Yedid Nefesh on?
I want to say 360
Okay.
something.
Guys, I promise we'll have a chance to talk later. It's a rowdy crowd tonight. Rowdy crowd. I like
600
it. I
something.
like it. Very good. What number are you saying?
600.
600.
60 something?
660 something. We're getting a page.
Somewhere around there. I'm going to write that down after we get this.
All right. Fair enough.
Shabbat, maybe a little before that. 640s? That's Mizmor Shir. We're very close. Dror Yikra.
636.
36.
636. All right, everyone. Again, Shabbat Shalom. We'll turn to page 636. Page 636 in our prayer books. We'll begin with Yedid Nefesh before we light candles.
Yedid Nefesh Al Parachaman Meshoch Avdecha El Retzonecha Yarutz Avdecha Kemo Ayah Yishachaveh El Mul Hadaecha Ye'avro Yedidutecha Minoch Etzuf Lechol Ta'am Adonai Ziv Haolam Nafshi Cholat Ahavata Ana Elna Refana La Beharot La Noam Zivachas Titchazek V'titrapeh V'hayta lach Simchat Olam Yediday-day-day-day, 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 yediday-day-day-day,
We'll now invite up Mimi Levy, who is going to light and bless our Shabbat candles on page 120. Mimi, I'll come down with the microphone. Okay. You want me to help with the lighting piece here? It's a little tricky. Here, you hold the mic.
I'm a school teacher.
I was-
Hear me without a mic. Okay. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivonu lahadlik shel Shabbat. Can I translate?
Absolutely.
Praise be thou, O Lord our God, King of the universe, who has sanctified us by thy commandments and commanded that we light the lights of Shabbat. May we be blessed with Sabbath holiness. May we be blessed with Sabbath joy. May we be blessed with Sabbath peace.
Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Mimi, thank you. Okay. We'll turn now to page 130 as we begin Kabbalat Shabbat together. Again, page 130.
Lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu neranena, Ladonai. Lechu neranena, lechu neranena,
turn now to page 131.
ישמחו השמיים, ישמחו השמיים, ישמחו השמיים, ותגל הארץ. ישמחו השמיים, ישמחו השמיים, ישמחו השמיים. השמיים, ישמחו השמיים, ותגל הארץ.
We'll turn now to page 132.
זרוע לצדיק וישרי לב שמחה. אור זרוע לצדיק וישרי לב שמחה. אור זרוע לצדיק וישרי לב שמחה. וישרי לב שמחה. אור זרוע לצדיק וישרי לב שמחה. וישרי לב שמחה.
We'll turn now to page 134, Zamru Ladonai.
זמרו לאדוני בכינור, בכינור בקול זמרה, בחצוצרות וקול שופר, ההרים לפני המלך אדוני, ירם הים ומלואו, תבל ויושבי בר, נהרות עמך וכף יחד, הרים ירננו, לפני אדוני קיווה, לשפוט הארץ, לשפוט תבל בצדק, ועמים במישרים. ירם הים ומלואו, תבל ויושבי בר, נהרות עמך וכף יחד, הרים ירננו.
We'll turn now to page 135, Romamu, which is the last Hebrew paragraph, towards the middle of the page.
רוממו אדוני אלוהינו וישתחוו להר קודשו. רוממו אדוני אלוהינו וישתחוו להר קודשו. כי קדוש אדוני אלוהינו רוממו. כי קדוש אדוני אלוהינו רוממו. להר קודשו. רוממו אדוני אלוהינו והשתחוו להר קודשו.
We'll turn now to Lecha Dodi on page 138.
Yes. Lecha Dodi likrat kala yarara 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 pnei Shabbat mekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala yarara 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 pnei Shabbat mekabela. Shamor v'zachor v'dibur echad ishmi'anu el hamiyuchad. Adonai echad u'shmo echad l'shem u'letiferet ve'letfilah. Lecha Dodi likrat kala yarara 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 pnei Shabbat mekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala yarara 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 pnei Shabbat mekabela. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha ki hi mekor haberacha. Merosh mikedem nesucha sof ma'aseh v'machshavat tchila. Lecha Dodi likrat kala yarara 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 pnei Shabbat mekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala yarara 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 pnei Shabbat mekabela. Mikdash melech ir melucha u'mitzeim mitoch chafecha. Rav nach shevet ve'emek havacha ve'hu yachamol alayim chemla. Lecha Dodi likrat kala yarara 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 pnei Shabbat mekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala yarara 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 pnei Shabbat mekabela. Itna ari me'afar kumi livshigdei tiftar techani. Alya ben Yishai beit halachmi karva el nafshi ge'ala. Lecha Dodi likrat kala yarara 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 pnei Shabbat mekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala yarara 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 pnei Shabbat mekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala pnei Shabbat mekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala pnei Shabbat mekabela. Hitoreri hitoreri ki ba'orech kumi ori uri uri shir daberi kol Adonai Allah. מטה מבעיה, יחסו עניי עמי, ונתעיר עיר עתילה, לך דודי לי לקראת כלה, פני שבת מקפלה, לך דודי לי לקראת כלה, פני שבת מקפלה, בהיולים שיסה, שוסה יפרחו כל נבלייך, יסיס עלייך, אלוהייך, כמסוס חתן, על כלה, לך דודי לי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקפלה, לך דודי לי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקפלה, ימין ושמאל תפרוצי ואת אדוני תריצי על יריש בן פרסי ונשמחה ונגילה, לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקפלה, לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקפלה, בואי ושלום, עצרת בעלה גם בשמחה, ובצולה תוך אמוני עם סגולה, בואי חלה, בואי חלה, לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקפלה, לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקפלה, די 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 די
Woo. Well done indeed. Again, you can't imagine how much the fingers must hurt at a moment like this for poor Cantor Kevin. It's a lot of strumming.
Let's go.
That's a lot of strumming. Let's go. That's what we love about you, man. Keep going. All right, we're gonna catch our breath as we turn to page 140.
See if we can get this one verse every time. Tzadik katamar yifrach ke'erez balvano yizkeh shetulim beveit Adonai bechatzrot Eloheinu yafrihu od yenuvun beseva tesheim berananim yiyu lehayim ki ashar Adonai turi velo avlatabo.
Okay, we'll rise in body or spirit for the Chatzi Kaddish on page 144 and remain standing for the Baruch Hu on the next page. יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה.
Amen.
ועל מהד יברח חירותי וימליך מלכותי בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי לכל בית ישראל בעגלה בעגלה ובזמן קריב והימרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מברך לעלם לעלמי עלמיה יתברך יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה
בריחו
לילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה זמירן בעלמה ויאמרו אמן. ברכו את אדוני המבורך.
ברוך אדוני המבורך לעולם ועד.
ברוך אדוני המבורך לעולם ועד. Please be seated. We're now on page 149. We'll read together in English at the very top of the page. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Your wisdom sets the way on which time and season glide. Your breath guides the sail of the stars. Creator of the tide of time and light, you guide the current of day into night. As heaven spans to infinity, you set its course for eternity. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows.
ומבדיל בין יום ובין לילה, אדוני צבאות שמו, אל חי וקיים, תמיד ימלוך עלינו לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני, המעריב ערבים.
Amen. We'll turn now to page 151. We'll read together in English at the very top of the page. As you taught Torah to those whose names I bear, teach me Torah too. Its mystery beckons, yet I struggle with its truth. You meant Torah for me. Did you mean the struggle for me too? Don't let me struggle alone. Help me to understand, to be wise, to listen, to know. Lead me into the mystery.
כי הם חיינו ואורך ימינו, ובהם נגע יומם ולילה, ואהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים. ברוך אתה אדוני, אוהב עמו ישראל. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Please join us on page 154. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ושוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם להיות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם, אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים, אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת. We'll turn now to page 157. We'll read together in English at the top of the page. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands and marching together. As we turn to page 158.
Adonai et Yaakov, וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו. ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל.
We'll turn now to Hashkivenu on page 160.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom v'hamidenu shomreinu l'chaim. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom v'hamidenu shomreinu l'chaim. Ushmor tzeitzenu uvoeinu l'chaim u'l'shalom me'ata ve'ad olam. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom v'hamidenu shomreinu l'chaim.
Blessed are you, Adonai, guardian of Israel, whose shelter of peace is spread over us, over all your people Israel, and over Yerushalayim. We'll turn now to page 162.
Shabbat, v'dorotam beritzot Shabbat, Shabbat v'inafa.
Invite us now to rise in body or in spirit as we begin the Amidah together on page 164. From that point on, we'll continue silently. As always, please go at your own pace, and when you're finished, at the end, if you're still standing, you may be seated. Adonai sefatai tiftachu fi yagid tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise.
Say shalom, shalom bimrama, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru amen. Hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu, Kol Yisrael, Amen. Oh, say shalom, shalom bimroma, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael. Israel, Amen.
We'll turn now to page 371 to offer our Misha Berach this evening. In a moment, I'll read our list, but I'll just ask that we, in addition to those we're thinking of personally, extend our prayers to our family, our relatives, our friends in the land of Israel. It's been a very tough week there as well, so we pray for healing on their behalf as well as on our own community. Tonight, though, in our community, we are thinking of Benzi Tepper, Alison Luckman, Malka Bat Chaya Sura, Michael Klinghoffer, Ame and Warren Cass, Rivka Bat Rachel, Leah Bat Naomi, Gedalia Ben Sylvia, Lorraine Danis, David Dowling, Sivia Devora Bat Francis, Muriel Hirsch, Michelle Sawicki, Francis Kirschman, Shelley Newmark, Dan Axelrod, Gabriella Rose Spicer, Barbara Kushner, David Kyle Klotman, Lorraine Davis, Sue Wartor, Morris Kramer, Jeffrey Miller, Devora Batsima, Kim Birnbaum, Hilda Mintz, Deborah Block-Kroll, Sylvia Orn, Rebecca Rubin, Donna Rivka Bat Chana Shira, Moshe Ben Yosef, Tikva Bat Avram, Jake Curie, Farrah Sherwin, Barbara Schwab, Ellen Zaretsky, Steve Roberts, Peter Cohen, Toby Spitz, and Gail Gambino. We'll, of course, invite those watching at home to add names as well. And for those that are with us here tonight, if you have names to add, just please raise a hand, and we'll start on this side and work towards our way this way. We'll join together with Cantor Kevin on page 371, just in the middle of the page.
Source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Shabbat Shalom, Cantor Kevin. So, this is actually a Shabbos of a lot of simchas, smechot, if we want to go there. Starting tonight, we're going to celebrate the wonderful birthday of our incomparable Margaret Bromberg, which is a wonderful thing. Yes. And tomorrow we'll have what, at least as far as I know, in my time, is the only baby naming that we've done as part of services that will be part of services tomorrow, which follows on, again, weeks of B'nai mitzvahs and weddings, and it's been a lot of really wonderful stuff. But this week I was thinking, okay, great, we got these simchas. I'll look at the Torah portion. I'm sure we'll find all sorts of wonderful things to connect to. And what portion is it, of course, this week? Anybody know? Korach. Okay, so for those that don't know, those that know will immediately understand. Those that don't know, I'll teach. So Korach is a parsha filled with rebellion. And not just rebellion, but really some pretty grisly deaths as a result of a failed rebellion on that part. And not just a rebellion also, but family fighting against family in essence, and attempting to actually bring into their orbit everyone as a process. That sounds somewhat familiar to some family experiences you may have had in your life. Just know we have a lot more in touch with our ancestors than we may realize, okay? So here I'm thinking, okay, what can I possibly extract from Korach, to relate to our particular simchas this week or to any of us? So I'm going to share a teaching from a book and a rabbi that I very highly doubt many of you know. Perhaps Cantor Kevin has learned about at school or when he was studying in yeshiva, but is known as the Shnei Luchot HaBrit. Shnei Luchot HaBrit. Anybody? Does that ring a bell anywhere? Okay. If I just said those words, though, does that ring any bell at all? Shnei Luchot HaBrit. Anything? All right, I'm going to give you a little bit of a hint as to what Shnei Luchot HaBrit are. Please tell me you know what those are. 10 Commandments, excellent, okay? They came on 2 tablets, Shnei Luchot HaBrit, okay? The 2 tablets of the pact. Very good. Okay, so Cantor Kevin connected it also to one of our favorite songs on Pesach, okay? Oh, yeah. Okay. Okay, Shnei Luchot HaBrit. Okay, excellent. Shnei Luchot HaBrit, though, in this case, is referring to a really an essential book in a rabbi's study. It was written by Rabbi Yeshayahu Halevi Horowitz, who was living in, at that point, Ottoman-controlled land of Palestine. So this is 16th century, basically, for most of his life. And lived a pretty long, 1550 to 1630, and wrote a number of books. But Shnei Luchot HaBrit has a particular purpose. It goes parsha by parsha, and it lists commandments that are found in each portion, and most important to our conversation tonight, explains their stated hidden meanings and expresses their ethical and moral teachings of the Torah. Okay, so this is a good one for you, Myra. If you don't know Shnei Luchot HaBrit, this is a good one for our Musar fans in the room. So what is at stake here? So he's picking up actually already after Korach's rebellion has failed. Korach essentially stands up and says to his cousins, to Moses, to Aaron, how come you big shots get all the power and we get nothing? I was there at Sinai. At Sinai, we were told the whole people are kadosh. We're all holy. So what is this business about you and your brothers getting all the fancy turbans and all the good stuff and whatever? What about your cousins, right? They're all from the tribe of Levi. And I'm not talking about some distant cousin. I'm talking about first cousins. Okay, so this is literal family. And he stands up amongst everybody and says, right, challenges Moshe's leadership, and in particular challenges Aaron's leadership. His main concern is, why did Aaron get the high priesthood? Basically saying, I should have really gotten it. It would have made more sense for him. But he speaks in general terms, and he gets everybody into quite a stir. And as I said, when the rebellion ultimately fails, the punishment for it is, and the Torah has plenty of examples of violence and punishment, but this is pretty serious stuff. And we're literally told the ground opens up and swallows Korach and all of his followers, including the children, like this, okay? So again, as I said, when I started thinking about how to make this a positive sermon, we're starting from a pretty tough place, okay? But here we're going to look at Rabbi Horowitz's perspective on this. We may agree with it or we may not, but it gives us a certain kind of reflection on particular the nature of the punishment and why it was so severe. So what does he teach? This episode of Korach's rebellion teaches us what strenuous efforts one has to make to avoid strife and quarrels. Consider what a terrible punishment Korach suffered, and the fact that none of his illustrious forebears' merits saved him from any part of that punishment. In other words, he's a macher, right? He comes from a wonderful family. Okay, oftentimes you think, okay, the merits of the forefathers or foremothers will be enough to stay the execution, right? To stay the punishment. But no. Okay, even Korach, who really has all of the reasons to be spared, is not spared. And not even the fact that he left behind worthy children, grandchildren, etc., has any effect on his eventual rehabilitation. He's not given a chance for tshuva. The same fate happens to Datan and Aviram as well as their children, okay, co-conspirators. Although we have a general rule in Judaism that the quote-unquote celestial court does not judge people below the age of 20, our sages are on record that in this case, even underage children became the victims of the misdeeds of their parents. From here, he says, we have to learn that what we must always endeavor to hold on to is peace, shalom. Aaron's behavior, he points out, in this entire episode is the most remarkable, seeing that though he had been the principal object of contention, right, he was the focus of Korach's entire rebellion, right, saying what is Aaron's place in this? Why did he get this and none of the rest of us get it? Why is it centralized in one person instead of democratized amongst the many? And what in the end is Aaron's response? He never uttered a word during the whole episode. In other words, he says nothing. So from this, says Rabbi Horowitz, a person should try to be guided by whatever reason he can find to maintain peaceful relations and to extinguish the flames of strife. Okay, now this is a complex argument. It's the kind of argument that you sort of nod your head to at first, and then you start to think about it a little bit more and think to yourself, is silence the right answer in all situations, right? Is Aaron's response actually the correct response? Somebody comes up to you, challenges your legitimacy in front of a whole room full of people, and you say nothing back to them, right? Let's just put that in practical terms, okay? Let's imagine somebody comes in the room right now, yells bloody murder at the rabbi, and the rabbi sits there, looks back at them, and says nothing. Something tells me at least a few of you are going to have some words for me at the oneg afterwards. Why didn't you stand up for yourself? Put the guy in their place. Okay, Aaron doesn't do that. It's not really Aaron's tendency, right? In the face of his sons dying, he is largely silent. There's a part of Aaron that perhaps should be speaking up more. But let's take away that for a second and think about what is Horowitz really trying to express to us. When you think about most conflicts that exist, conflicts between brothers and sisters, between husbands and wives, between husbands and husbands or wives and wives, between friends, between coworkers, there's almost always an inflection point, a moment in which the situation can be brought down or the fire can be turned up. Someone makes a decision in the end to continue the argument, to respond in kind, to meet violence with violence, insult to insult, attack to attack. And inevitably, the result is a continuing battle of elevation. One does to the other does in response. The next thing you know, as I said, what starts out as an argument really between cousins, then is involving an entire tribe, and then is involving all 12 tribes. And the next thing you know, you have a full-on civil war. You have brothers fighting against brothers, sisters against sisters, and everything from there. So Horowitz is certainly using this as a hyperbolic example. Not every circumstance silences the right response. But oftentimes, more often than I think we realize, we're in this position in which we have a choice when somebody attempts to create a conflict with us of whether we're going to follow the bait, whether we're going to respond in kind, or whether perhaps the right response in some situations is nothing. No words, no anger, no violence, right? To walk away, and then, right, what he leaves out here, but what is true about Aaron to the end, is you go back to doing what you were doing, right? You go back to the work, to go back to the sacred work that needs to be done. In Aaron's case, criticize him as we may, in the end, he is steadfast in understanding that he has a role to play for his community, and no one else can be in that role. And if he doesn't do it, everything comes to a halt. So he has a choice to make, right? He could be the one to take up a sword, a spear, to end it right there. But he allows for what ends up being the determining factor of a show of force, as it were, in a different way, in a spiritual way, in which each of the contending people have their chance to prove that they are deserving of the role, and each one fails in kind, and Aaron ultimately succeeds. But Horowitz is telling us that if we're going to look at this portion and we're going to try to extract something, is to raise up whenever we can the concept of shalom, the concept of wholeness, the concept of peace. And it's not just for countries to deal with, and it's not just right for people to write about or to philosophize about. Peace is not some far off, distant concept. It's in our hands. It's in our hearts. It's in our decisions. It's in the way that we live our life. And we either commit to the idea of it and hold it up as the most important thing in our lives, or we do what we often do, which is we get angry, we get defensive, we get reactive, and in the end, the only thing that happens is the world, basically, we all get swallowed up. So there is something to be learned here, and there is a connection to our birthday girl for this evening, certainly. Because if I can think of a modern day example of somebody who steps into the breach when is needed, or knows when to give space when not, who solves problems, who creates peace, anybody that knows Margaret Bromberg knows exactly what I'm saying. So, Margaret, I know you sit in the 100th row purposely to give space for others, and that you are too humble to ever take credit for anything. But as your rabbi, I get a certain kind of dispensation here from the Bima to say that we are all lucky to know you. We are all lucky to learn from you and to learn from your example. And, everybody has their moments in which this is tested. Horowitz, I'm sure, lived his life in the same way. But just remember, just because we reacted a certain way last time, or even today, does not mean that we have to react the same way tomorrow or the next day. So all I ask as your rabbi, and you can hold me to it because I'm in this with you, the next time you're in that situation where you have a choice, you can either make the situation prolong, make it worse, keep the argument going, fight back, or you can simply walk away from the strife, or even better, try to create some peace if it didn't exist before. So with that, I wish you all a Shabbat Shalom. A certain happy birthday we'll sing you a little bit later, Margaret. And again, really, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat of peace. I'll invite us now to rise as we turn to page 586 at the very bottom of the page. Aleinu l'shabach.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורל עלינו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא.
Page 591.
ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד.
As close in mourning, those observing yahrzeit to please remain standing. Everyone else may be seated at this time. I think first of those in our community who've passed in recent months: Bert Bitterman, Morty Schwatzky, Beverly Deshevsky, Sandy Greenwald, Dorothy Klein, David Lieberman, Norma Polsek, Marvin Schreier, Sandy Slip, Barbara Strasser, David Weinstein, Rita Weitzman, and Yael Zerdar. We also mark the yahrzeit that occurred during the last week for William Bemorium, Charles Bookstaver, Anna Busbang, Thelma Center, Irving Kornblath, Linda Dayan, Dr. Harry Diner, Nathan Dobson, Sadie Eisner, Lee Friedman, Carolyn Gottfried Kahn, Esther Green, Eddie Riskin Greenberg, Morris Heller, Joseph Kamenkow, Buddy Kossoff, Sarah Krennick, Henry LaBelle, Morty Lynn, Gracie Mazel, William Metzger, Morris Meyer, Max Olswing, Eileen Osofsky, Bella Proper, Abraham Protas, Abe Rosenblatt, Bernat Roth, Anna Schmidt, Ted Tatcon, Ben Tuft, Bertha Wartor, Andrea Winnower, Abraham Zaltis, and Jean Zaretsky. Is anyone else saying Kaddish for anyone that we did not? And I'll invite the mourners to join with me on page 598 and to rise if it is your custom. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah.
Amen.
Be'alma tivrach chirutei v'yamlich malchutei. B'chayechon u'b'yomechon u'v'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael. B'agala u'bizman kariv b'imru Amen.
Amen.
Yehi shemei Rabbah mevarach la'alam u'li'almei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yithadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalal shmei dekudsha b'richu.
Barichu.
Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata da'amiran be'alma v'imru Amen.
Amen.
Yehi shalama rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru Amen.
Amen.
Oseh shalom b'mromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru Amen.
Amen.
Zichronam livracha, may every one of their memories be for a blessing. Please be seated. Shabbat shalom, everyone.
Shabbat shalom.
Okay, so some important announcements. Let's begin with the most important. We thank Margaret and Mike Bromberg for sponsoring our oneg this evening in celebration of Margaret's birthday. And when we go next door for our oneg, we'll sing Margaret a happy birthday. So wish you a happy birthday for sure. And as I mentioned, tomorrow morning, service is beginning at 10 o'clock. You can join us here. I hope you'll join us here at the temple. You can watch at home as well. And part of our service will be the baby naming of Amelia Sender, Bree Matloff, and Boris Sender's daughter. So if you don't know Bree, you should know Bree, because we honestly would not be sitting in this temple probably right now without Bree's help. Roger, who is a longtime board member of the temple, Bree is his daughter and Erica's, and it's an amazing thing. And Amelia is a beautiful child, and we'll bring her up to the bima here, and we will give her her beautiful Hebrew name, and we will bless her, and we will celebrate her, and it will be a wonderful thing. So please join us tomorrow. All are welcome. And then, of course, we'll have Torah study hybrid, so you can join us on Zoom or here as well, and that will be led by me downstairs following services. Also a reminder, tomorrow evening is our first Hamish Havdalah at Long Beach. Okay, so Bonnie is here, Beth is here, our two leaders, correct? And, you know, we'll give Mitch and Ira some credit too, yes? A little bit? Kind of? Okay. Anyway, it should be a great thing. I will not be around this particular time. I hope to be there next time, because both Cantor Kevin and I will be on Sunday at the wedding of our former student cantor, Lauren Roth, to Aaron Blasband, which we're very excited about. So I told her we would extend, you know, all of the blessings to the both of them. And for once, Kevin doesn't have to work. He could just sit back and learn and enjoy and all of that. But it will be a great thing to be under the chuppah with them. And those that know Lauren, I promise you, she feels all the love. And if you still have her email, you can send her a little note. But we'll see them at some point, I'm sure, in the not too distant future. So again, Hamish Havdalah, 6:30, 24th. Those that have signed up already know what they're doing. So got any questions? Find Bonnie or, right, Beth, you're also helping as well. So Bonnie or Beth afterwards. Also, a reminder, next Friday night, we have our return of a potluck dinner, which we have not had in a crazy long time. So we're very excited about this. And in addition to our eating and our joy of just being together, Cantor, tell us a little bit about our singing.
Sure. So for about 30 minutes after the meal, we'll bench and then have some Zmirot singing. So there'll be a few tunes that you guys are familiar with, a few that'll be new. It's part of my senior thesis to be working with connecting more mature and sophisticated songs that are outside of the liturgy into kind of into the repertoire of the average congregation. So part of my thesis is that I think that we do a great job with Jewish summer camps and bringing up our youth and really empowering them with so many songs. And then the second that's over, there's not that much for them because especially outside of the synagogue. So this is one way that I see of bridging that gap and trying to keep at least our young adults and our youth connected through music. And so that's one lens of this. And so I've got a ton of interviews that I'm doing. But long story short, we'll be doing a little bit of that singing next Shabbat.
Very cool. And I think we're going to sing something in a second, but just to finish the last few of our announcements, this Sunday, book group at 11 o'clock. You're welcome to join here or on Zoom. Come at 10:50 if you're joining us here for a cup of coffee and a nosh, but do make sure that Ruth knows that you are coming or participating in one form or the other. Also, Rosh Chodesh will be meeting here at the temple at 4:30 as well. Coming up this week, Nida Mitzvah will be meeting at 11:30 on Monday, yes. Social Justice will have its regular meeting at 5 o'clock. On Tuesday at 7 o'clock is the Anti-Semitism Committee meeting. And on Wednesday is Ari Weller's class, which I believe is sold out at this point, Shelley, right? We have capacity? Okay, so if you're interested, you could contact Shelly to possibly be on a wait list. But, first one was excellent. So again, anybody's coming for Ari's class, it'll be downstairs again? It'll be upstairs this time, okay? Upstairs. Good. Whew. Okay, so Cantor, I think you have something for us to sing this evening before we do Kiddush. So why don't you
Yeah.
take that away? I'll go get us set up for Kiddush.
Perfect. So I was actually looking for this, and I was shocked to find that this was not actually in the back of the book. It's one of my favorite things to do is while Rabbi's giving a sermon, again, to connect it. But that was something that was in the back, that wasn't in the back of the book that I was shocked about, but it's something that you will all know. If you're familiar with Sheldon Harnick, he's just recently passed, the person of Bach and Harnick, who wrote a ton of musicals, probably one of the best lyricists of the last century, really. He wrote Fiddler on the Roof, She Loves Me, and a myriad of other incredible productions. And one of my summer camp traditions, which led us into our Friday night song session, which I'm going to argue is essentially a version of Zemirot itself, was Sabbath prayer from Fiddler on the Roof. So I think we'll give everybody a bit of a Sabbath prayer ourselves. May the Lord protect and defend you. May God always shield you from shame. May you come to be in Yisrael a shining name. Yadadada, yadadada. May you be like Ruth and like Esther. May you be deserving of praise. Strengthen us, O Lord, and keep us from the stranger's way. May God bless you and grant you long. May your Lord fulfill our Sabbath prayer for you. May God keep you and shield you from strife. May God with wisdom always care for you. May the Lord protect and defend you. May God always shield you from shame. Favor us, O Lord, with happiness and peace. Oh, hear our Sabbath prayer.
Yashkach. We'll rise for Kiddush, page 123. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho b'ahava uvratzon inchilanu zikaron lema'aseh v'reishit ki hu yom techila lemikra'ei kodesh zecher letziat Mitzrayim ki banu bacharta ve'otanu kidashta mikol ha'amim ve'shabbat kodshecha ve'ahava uvratzon inchaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh hashabbat. Amen. And l'chaim to you. Oh, that's sweet. Okay. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz Amen. Shabbat shalom, everybody.
Shabbat shalom.
When we go next door, we'll sing Margaret happy birthday. Let's go. Beautiful. Okay. Jackie Berg, can I ask a favor? Could you bring this over to the table? People may eat. Appreciate it. Thank you. Come on.